We interrupt this ongoing review of Captain America and the Secret Empire to bring a special report. It's my 100th episode! Welcome to Kevin's commentary on comics. Yes, it is my 100th episode, and to mark this milestone in comic commentating history, I thought I would review a comic that reached issue 100 as well. Yes, there were many to choose from, but I found one that actually had a lot of meaning to me because I remember reading it when it first came out. So without further ado, and keeping with the 100th episode theme and all, I'm proud to present Marvel Team Up number 100 from December 1980, featuring Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four. This double-sized issue was brought to us by writer Chris Claremont with art by Frank Miller and Bob Wiacek, I think, and entitled, "And Introducing Karma, She Possesses People." Wow, not the most clever title of all time, but it certainly lets you know what is going on. And what is going on is that Spidey is swinging through the city when suddenly he is mind attacked. Thanks to the title, we all know that this mysterious figure in the shadows is Karma because, she possesses people. Before we go any further though, I would like to say I absolutely love the artwork on this one, and this is why I picked this issue out, because the artwork is just stunning. This is when Frank Miller was at his best, in my humble opinion. This was during his heyday on Daredevil, and he did a few Marvel team-ups along with some other issues, I'm sure, that I can't remember right now, but he had that distinctive style that was really kind of different than maybe anybody else. Like, let's compare the more clean lines of a John Byrne or Sal Buscema. Miller had his own style, and I really dug it back then, and I still do now. Now, unfortunately, I think he got a little too experimental in his later work. The Dark Knight Returns, I think, was the start of this, and while that was great, I found DK2, which was the follow-up, and granted, this was a follow-up several years after Dark Knight Returns, but I found that to be almost unreadable. Maybe his style has always been that way, and this particular comic is really the work of Bob Wiacek as the embellisher that made it look so good. I kind of doubt that, but regardless, this issue is some beautiful stuff. So, Karma, and I'm just going to call her that because it's easier, and I'm all about the easier. Karma has possessed Spider-Man and struggles to not only gain complete control of him, but also to get used to his powers. Once she has stopped him from falling down the wall, she plays around with the web shooters and finally feels like she has enough control to set out on the mission that caused her to possess Spidey to begin with. Well, what was that mission? We'll get to it. Keep your shorts on. So we cut to Freedom Tower and a charity party that has none other than the Fantastic Four as guests. A former general in the Vietnamese army, Nguyen Ngoc Coi, is hosting the party along with his son Tron, who also has his younger brother and sister, Ga and Leong. And apologies if I've butchered these names. I really did have to kind of look up some phonetic pronunciations of these so I could try to get them right. So Karma arrives in her Spider-Man body and tries to collect her niece and nephew, but gets this strange buzzing in her head. I guess she really didn't get all of Spidey's powers down because this is obviously his spider sense. So the Fantastic Four intervene, trying to figure out why Spider-Man is trying to kidnap some kids, which is when Karma realizes that, hey, wait a minute, Spider-Man isn't a criminal? He's a good guy? Uh-oh. Apparently, she just read the Daily Bugle too much. Now, Karma's brother, Tron, also possesses possessing powers and uses them on Spider-Man, and since he is much more powerful and healthy than Karma, she has to let Spidey go, which sets him up for a nice haymaker by the Thing. So Spidey wakes up at the Baxter Building and doesn't remember anything. Reed does some sort of brain scan on him and discovers that his memories were totally flatlined for about an hour. Now, that's some pretty good technology to basically rewind Spidey's mind like that, but hey, this is Reed Richards we're talking about here. So it's pretty apparent that Spidey was under some sort of mind control, and who is the best person to call when you have a situation like that? Well, it's none other than Professor Charles Xavier of the X-Men. Professor X tells Reed that he did in fact register mutant activity earlier in the evening, two distinct entities with similar abilities. Naturally, it's nothing he's ever seen before and was planning on investigating it, but since the FF are on it, he goes back to training his X-Men. So the Fantastic Five, using a tracking device Reed whipped up, head to a church to find out who was possessing Spider-Man. Spidey, being the impetuous scamp that he is, jumps off the Fantastic car and hones in on a priest. Of course, Karma is there too, but for some reason Spidey thinks it's the man of the cloth that's the bad guy. Karma possesses the Human Torch, and the Torch and Spidey fight for a bit until the rest of the FF get inside. Karma realizes at this point that she's made a mistake, and this panel right here shows just how good Miller is, or was, probably still is, but the sorrow and regret shown in Karma's face in this one panel jumps right off the page and into your heart, doesn't it? So then we get the obligatory origin story of Karma and her brother when they discovered their powers during the war. Her brother really enjoyed using his mutant powers to possess people and did so for evil by killing soldiers. And granted, these are soldiers that were taking over his village, but still, Karma was frightened by it. They eventually made it to America, where her uncle wanted Karma to use her powers at his service like her brother was doing. But she refused. The uncle was mad about this and kidnapped her niece and nephew. If she wanted to see them again, all she had to do was work for him. That's when she decided to use Spider-Man to get the kids back. So the 5 heroes decide to help Karma out and intercept Karma's uncle and brother as they try to get on a ship with the niece and nephew. Spidey grabs the kids and takes on the General's goons. The FF get involved too, but it's not too long before Karma's brother uses his powers to possess all of the Fantastic Four at the same time and goes after Spidey. Of course, he could have just possessed Spidey too and had them all kill themselves, but evil people like revenge, and since it was Spidey's interference that brought this all on, he was going to make him pay. Well, actually, he does have that wrong. It was his sister who possessed Spider-Man, so this fight scene page that we're looking at here between Spidey and the possessed FF is a thing of beauty, pardon the pun. The battle ensues until Karma begs her brother to stop. Of course he won't, so she decides to possess him. And even though the brother is much healthier and probably more skilled than Karma, she must have the greater power because she basically possesses him right out of existence, or more accurately, into her. And by doing so, her tunic gets a complete yin and yang symbol, and she is whole. I'm not sure what part of the possessing power alters clothing, but hey, it's comics. So we end this one with Karma officially giving herself the name Karma and goes off with her niece and nephew. And as some may know, she became a founding member of the New Mutants and really has always been one of my favorites on that team. So I'm Kevin, and that was my commentary. That was a great issue. One of the ones I've always remembered, and I don't know if it's because it was a 100th issue or double-sized, but more than likely it's just because of Miller's great artwork. Plus, hey, Claremont did a great job with the story as well. So just to touch on this being my 100th episode, I would like to thank those who have watched, liked, shared, and subscribed to my channel. I've been doing these for just under a year now. March 5th, 2015 was the airing of the first Kevin's Commentary on Comics. I have changed the format quite a bit over the past year, and hey, why not? You try some things out, you make some changes. Over the last several episodes, I've mainly focused on reviewing older comics, but I used to do like news and comic-related collectibles and movie and TV stuff that's related to comics, and I'll probably still do some of those in the future, but I've really been digging this groove on older comics, so I'll probably continue with that for at least the next several episodes. One change I have made that I really like is taking myself off camera. I started out with just, kind of a news style look to it with me being on camera, but really there's no reason for you to see me, and really it gets in the way of showing off the fine comic artwork. Plus, a little behind the scenes, it's much easier for me to produce these if I don't have to set up my camera, green screen, lights, etc., just to babble on about Firestorm or Spider-Man. I will keep this current format until something new catches my fancy. So again, thanks for watching this, my 100th episode, and I hope to see you for episode 200. Hey, make sure you don't miss out on that by subscribing to my channel, and as always, please like and share this video. The more subscribers I get, the more chances I will actually keep doing this for another 100 episodes. Now, actually, I'll probably make the 200th episode. This is a fun hobby for me, and there is plenty of comics to commentate on. So until next time, when we get back into Captain America and the Secret Empire saga, have a great day, and I will see ya.